So I'm about to leave for my trip. I am so incredibly excited, but incredibly nervous. I feel both emotions are at 100% right now.
My name is David, and in the summer of 2019, before COVID, I decided to take a 2-month road trip across America to see as many national parks as possible while living in a tent on top of my car. I was really nervous about the trip because I had only camped once before, and it was a bad experience.
What am I doing? Oh my God, what am I doing?
But I hoped the trip would teach me a lot about myself.
Oh my God, that was terrifying.
I live in Iowa, along the Mississippi River, and I'm a professor at Augustana College, so I get summers off to travel. My plan was to make my way south to Florida, and then turn around and go through Colorado and Utah, and eventually get to Los Angeles, and then follow the California coastline north to Washington State. So with the help of some friends, I got the tent on top of my car, packed up my car with supplies, and left my house to hit the open road and begin my adventure. The first stop on my trip was my parents' house to say goodbye to my mom and dad.
Hi, how's it going? Give me a hug. Look at this. Look at how good those look. Hey, Dad. How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Good. Give me a hug.
Okay.
Yeah, you like it?
Yeah, I like it. It's the cutest thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
Well, good. You want to climb up in there, Mom? With your good hips?
That I can do, but I have pork tenderloin on the stove. I cannot wait anymore.
Okay, love you. After leaving my parents, I traveled through Indiana and Kentucky to make my way to my first national park, Mammoth Caves.
At over 400 miles long, Mammoth Cave is the world's largest cave. It also hosts 130 different species of wildlife, and in the War of 1812 was mined for calcium nitrate, which was used to turn into gunpowder. But when I returned to my campsite, I discovered some bad news.
So I just pulled into my campsite for the first night on the road, and this is what I found. My bike rack was resting on this part, and it cracked it at some point. It was unclear if someone had backed into me with their car, but there was only one thing I could do, and that was to get ready for a first night of camping on the trip. I want my bike on this trip, but I don't know if I can take it anymore. I'm afraid if I try to put the bike rack back on, I can put where the one prong into the hole, so it'll be on metal instead of plastic, but then it'll be uneven and maybe the other side will break. So I don't know what to do. The day was going amazing. I was so happy. I was meeting the coolest people. And then this happened. Right now I've taken it off the back of the car and put it into like my car. So I've taken the wheels off and it's just in the back of the car right now. So I could go to Nashville, find a charity to donate it to, like the bike, right? And then, or I can go to a bike shop and see if they have an extra bike box and I can ship it back to the Quad Cities. I can't keep it on the back of my car, and I can't keep it in my car for 11 weeks.
No. Oh, I'm so sorry.
And then I've got to call my insurance.
Even though I was frustrated about the bike, I continued my trip onto Nashville. I took a walking tour of Nashville and got to see the river, the city, some of the music culture, nighttime hotspots, and building art. Eventually, I found a bike shop named Halcyon that was willing to take my bike and donate it to a charity that teaches kids how to repair and build bicycles.
This is so cool. How long have you been here?
This location is 7 years. We just
celebrated our 10-year anniversary in October.
Congratulations, that's amazing. Thank you so much, Mikey.
Yeah, man, thank you.
Take care. Before I left Nashville, I felt like a hike, so I went to Lake Raynor, which was right outside of town. After Nashville, I was excited to get back to nature, and the next stop on my trip was the Great Smoky Mountains in the beautiful Appalachian Mountain Range.
I have just this incredible calm over me. I don't know why. It's just the smell of the flowers and the mountain air. I'm just so incredibly freaking calm. Oh, this is wonderful. One of the great things about the Great Smoky Mountains is a loop road that shows off the prairie, the mountains, and the horses that live there.
The prairie in the park is amazingly beautiful, but so are the waterfalls.
I'm parked along the road here with my tent set up on top of the car. So this is the patchwork job I did the first morning I had in Nashville. I went to the hardware store, got some red tape. Doesn't match at all closely to the red of my car, but it will stop the water from getting in, which is good. So it's about 8:15 in the evening, Cosby Campground, Great Smoky Mountains. Day 5 is in the books. Trip is going well. I am a whole lot less anxious now. I'm so happy I did this.
The next morning, I woke up early to hike Mount Camera. It's a beautiful but difficult 5.5-mile hike to an old lookout tower with amazing views. The next day, I continued my trip south to Key West and enjoyed the beautiful views along the way. Because I planned my trip far in advance, I got a camping spot right on the ocean for 2 nights. And I really loved exploring all Key West had to offer. And I could not leave Key West without enjoying its beautiful beaches.
So I'm here at Key West at Fort Zachary Beach, and I'm getting a little bummed out. Only because I wish I had someone on this trip with me. I'm getting a little lonely, despite spending the last 2 days with friends at their places in the evening. I don't know, I'm just getting a little lonely. Wish I had someone to hang out with and talk with and explore with. But right now I don't. That's just kind of frustrating.
Since my trip would take me to the most northwestern point of the United States in Washington, before I left, I had to say goodbye to the most southern point of the country. After Key West, I drove north to Biscayne National Park just south of Miami, which has gorgeous views of Biscayne Bay right before the Atlantic Ocean. While Biscayne was beautiful, I was really excited for my next stop at Everglades National Park, which is home to over 9 different types of habitats and has some of the coolest insects I have ever seen. After an afternoon of exploring the northern part of the park, I drove to the Flamingo Campground on the southern edge and got to enjoy the amazing scenery as the sun faded. After a hot night sleeping in the Everglades, I drove north to Tampa to see one of my best friends, Dennis, get married. And one of my duties as a groomsman was to get roses for the ceremony.
Dennis, will you marry me? Please?
Yes.
Sweet. Let's get married quickly before your other marriage.
In compliance with the law of Christ and in accord with the teaching of the church, with free will and full consent, do you take Dennis as your husband?
I do.
Look at the cute couple. So gorgeous.
While I am a ridiculous dancer, I love dancing at weddings, and this is one of the most fun weddings I have ever been to. The day after Dennis's wedding, I drove north along the Gulf Coast of Florida on my way to New Orleans. But first, I stopped at St. George Island. St. George is a tourist town with great beaches and lots of things to do. But what I loved most was exploring the island's nature from the ground and the sky. And enjoying a fantastic sunset.
So it's sunrise at St. George Island on day 15. I'm so thankful I get to go on this trip. It's been amazing. Today I'm driving to New Orleans about 6 hours and then slowly make my way up to Aspen, Colorado. Thankful that the hot days will be hopefully behind me until I get to the desert. But then everything should be a little bit better so I'm not sleeping in hot, humid air at night, sweating constantly. But yeah, this trip is amazing. This trip is amazing.
I'd never been to my next stop in New Orleans, but I was beyond excited. I had booked a bed and breakfast named the Burgundy right near downtown, and the hosts were amazing. Seeing famous places in New Orleans, unique architecture, and Bourbon Street was pretty amazing. But what really excited me was going on my ecological tour of the local bayou swamps.
So I kind of broke off from the group, went up ahead, and I'm kind of all alone in the swamp outside of New Orleans. Pretty freaking cool.
After New Orleans, I traveled through Texas on my way to Oklahoma City.
Texas! All right! Another stop on the trip. Going great. All right, so there was construction on the interstate between Shreveport, Louisiana and Oklahoma City, so they forced us off the highway. And I'm on these side highways, and I'm going through Paris, Texas. And guess what's in Paris, Texas? The Eiffel Tower, but with a cowboy hat on it. And it's pretty freaking cool. So look what happens when you, go off the beaten path. You get to experience amazing things. Trip is going great.
My next destination was national parks in Colorado, but on the way, I got to camp in Clayton Lake State Park. Clayton Lake's claim to fame is dozens of dinosaur tracks, which are really cool to see in person.
Clayton Lake, New Mexico is absolutely gorgeous. It's just phenomenal. It's sunset. Look at this. Freaking phenomenal. Wow. Just wow.
Another highlight of my trip was making it to Colorado, one of the most beautiful parts of the United States.
Oh my god, this is great. How beautiful is this Colorado? Look at those mountains. This is wonderful. Wow.
Let's go, Kyle. Come on. Let's go. Get off the road. I gotta go. No. Please move.
My first stop in Colorado was Great Sand Dunes National Park. The sand dunes are massive, and you can see them from miles away.
It is so freaking windy here at Great Sand Dunes National Park, and it's freezing. It's 42 degrees. Got down to 40 last night. Oh! Yeah, it's so windy. Wow. The ranger said that this is normal. Or not abnormal, he'll say. Wow, so we got the stream, and there's a lake farther north, but they won't let you go in anymore. Because the stream, or the river, I guess, up there, swallowed a Jeep Cherokee yesterday. The engine got flooded with water.
Despite the cold wind, the sand dunes are gorgeous, especially with the mountains in the background. It's incredibly easy to fall in love with Colorado as you drive into the mountains. Once I got to Aspen, one of the first things I wanted to do was to take a hike and overlook the town.
So I'm here at Aspen, Colorado. It is freaking gorgeous. I just did the Smuggler Mountain Overlook Trail, and I am not used to this altitude. It really was rough, particularly with my bag full of camera equipment. But man, this place is gorgeous. Wow, I couldn't imagine living here. Phenomenal. Aspen is beautiful. These mountains in the background and the downtown is so cute. I need mega millions to be able to live here, but it's a very cute little town. Mountains all around it. Man, check that out.
As I was leaving Aspen.
So I actually just got pulled over by the police in Aspen. I was going 35 and a 25. But I was talking to my mom on the phone, hands-free. Pretty sure he's just going to give me a warning. He said he would, as long as I didn't lie to him about anything. I didn't lie to him about anything, so hopefully that's good. About to leave Aspen. Officer seems really nice. And I just got a warning. Would have been a $167 ticket, but he gave me a warning. What a nice guy. Woo!
The drive to Telluride, Colorado was just as stunning as the drive to Aspen.
The drive from Aspen to Telluride is just phenomenal. These mountains remind me of the Alps, this valley here. Wow. Just wow, look at this. I decided to stop into Telluride, Colorado, and I just watched the U.S. women's soccer team in the World Cup beat Thailand 13-0, which is amazing. And yeah, this place is amazing.
While I love the mountains, eventually I had to leave them and get to Mesa Verde National Park.
I made it! Mesa Verde National Park! Woo! I made it!
Mesa Verde is famous for its cliff dwellings, which are entire villages built by Native Americans who began living there about 1,400 years ago. One of the coolest places I visited was the balcony house, which you need to climb into.
I want to ask you to turn around and smile.
Do you want us to?
This one gets me out of problem. That way at least you can get out.
Mesa Verde National Park. Beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. I know I say that all the time, but gorgeous.
The drive from Mesa Verde to Moab, Utah becomes less and less green as you continue on.
This is my hip camp outside of Moab, Utah. Going to Arches National Park tomorrow. I'm at this horse ranch. Sun was beautiful. Man, incredible.
I slept well that night and was super excited for the next day.
Arches National Park! I'm super pumped to be here. I've heard amazing things from everyone. They just keep saying, go to Arches, go to Arches. I'm pumped.
The drive through Arches is absolutely incredible. And if you go to Arches, you can't leave without hiking up to Delicate Arch.
The Delicate Arch. Bit of a hike to get up here, but worth it. Look at that canyon. So Arches National Park is gorgeous. It's amazing. I think it's like day 25 of my trip. So I'm almost a third of the way done with the trip. And it's wonderful. I can't imagine quitting. I was so nervous starting this trip. There's no way I want to quit anymore. There's no way. I want to see all of America. The other thing, it's like the first couple of weeks were kind of tough because I was kind of lonely, like really lonely. I wish I had like a girlfriend or a friend that would come on the trip with me. But first, I don't have room in my car. And second, if I were married or had kids, I would never be able to do this. I just couldn't leave for 2.5 months. Right? I wouldn't do that to a family. So even though I'm single and I hate it at times, it lets me do this. And this is pretty freaking amazing.
After experiencing Arches, I drove a short distance and camped out at Dead Horse State Park.
So I got up early and I'm at Dead Horse State Park at the overlook. Man, is it gorgeous here. Wonderfully gorgeous.
Before I left, I drove out of the park and checked out the beautiful Pullman Gorge. The drive to Canyonlands goes from a green prairie to more rugged terrain pretty quickly.
Canyonlands National Park. I'm super excited to be here. This is amazing. You know, I haven't been to the Grand Canyon yet, but this is huge. It's phenomenal. You know, the scale of things is just like, I'm sure the video can't take the scale or do it any justice. It's just phenomenally huge.
Being so close to arches, Canyonlands has a few arches of its own, which showcase its beauty. One of the most interesting parts of Canyonlands is Upheaval Dome, a 6-mile-wide crater that some scientists think was created by a meteor impact. I had some pretty unique camping spots on this trip, and one was an old homestead right outside of Bicknell, Utah.
Okay, so I made it to the campsite. It's an old homestead, which is pretty cool. The directions were a little bit unclear, but I managed to text the owner, and we figured it out after a bit. But I'm losing daylight, and have like very little time to get my tent set up.
When the morning arrived, I checked out the house on the homestead where pioneers used to live.
Wood burning stove. And this would have been the view.
After looking at the house, I was excited to check out Capitol Reef National Park.
All right, day 27, Capitol Reef National Park. Middle third of the trip begins today. Super pumped to be here, super ready to explore, super ready to hike, see some things. Yeah!
Capitol Reef has an interesting history, with petroglyphs from ancient American cultures, and was the site of a settlement named Frida, with one of the schoolhouses still remaining. While I went to Capitol Reef for the hiking, I was happy to make new friends along the way.
Let me do this. Okay. All right, no, you stand up. You stand up. Okay. Hi, David, Howard, and Jory.
Hi.
Where are we? Capitol Reef, and this is, what is it? Hickman's Bridge?
Hickman Bridge, right?
Hickman Bridge.
Yeah, but they call it
Trail.
the Natural Bridge Trail, yeah.
Wonderful. Having so much fun on our trips. Both from Chicago. We're all three of us are from Chicago.
There you go.
So, wonderful time.
Small world.
Small world. This is Hickman Bridge in Capitol Reef. This place is gorgeous. It's just like arches, with arches like that. But it's much greener when you look around and you drive around. Phenomenal, though.
After Capitol Reef, I started my drive to Escalante, Utah, where I needed to relax for an evening. On the drive, you are first confronted with the beautiful Dixie National Forest. Then after a while, the landscape is more barren, and you find yourself driving on a mountain ridge with drop-offs on both sides. It's a little nerve-wracking, but the views were stunning.
Bryce Canyon National Park. Super excited to be here. Can you believe this? I mean, I can't believe this. This is, holy moly.
This is crazy. Sunset Point, Bryce Canyon. Absolutely gorgeous. And guess who's joining me? My friends from Capitol Reach.
New buddies.
New buddies. Hundreds of miles away, maybe?
That's right, the Midwest group.
The Midwest group, we met up again. Perfect. Rainstorm, Bryce Canyon. And then it turned to hail.
That is awesome.
It's hailing. I could just get them bouncing off your hat, Howard.
Accumulating on my t-shirt.
No brain damage here.
This is freaking phenomenal. This view. How phenomenal is this? Bryce Canyon. The sun finally came out in its utter gorgeousness. So because of a storm last night, I got terrible sleep, and I really need to wake up. It was too deep. Too deep where the waterfall hits for me to stand, but I got to wash my face. Last morning in Bryce at Sunrise Point, looking at the amphitheater. It's phenomenal. It doesn't look natural. This park is something else. It's amazing. I didn't think I'd like Utah because it's so dry and rocky and mountainous, but it's something else. It's pretty freaking great. Yesterday I met an author and they really inspired me. She published a book. She was working on her second book. She's starting a sitcom, and it really made me think. All day yesterday I was contemplating, what am I doing? I love being a business professor. I love teaching students. It's so much fun. It's so rewarding. But part of me feels like I gotta brave another mountain in my career. I gotta find something new that's really challenging, that I'll enjoy, and chase after it, try to succeed. I don't want to become complacent. And I'm afraid that maybe as a business professor I'd be complacent. Wow. This is great.
I made it to Zion. I'm super pumped. I'm gonna be here for 2 days. My cousin Tyler told me that this is the most beautiful place he's ever seen in the world. I'm ready to do some hikes. There's a strenuous hike called Angel's Landing I've heard about that I'm thinking about doing. I'm terrified of heights, but maybe, just maybe, I'll try to do it. Yeah, I'm super pumped. I'm super excited to do this.
Oh my god, this is undescribable. This is just the absolute scale of all of this is just wow.
One of the most famous parts of Zion is the Narrows, and many times people hike up the river to explore.
Zion! The Narrows! Woo!
Another great part of Zion is the Emerald Pools, which gave me a pseudo shower that felt great after days of hiking in Bryce.
So I just got off the shuttle bus in Zion to do Angel's Landing, which is one of the hardest and scariest hikes in the park, and maybe one of the scariest in the nation that I know about. And I'm terrified because I'm afraid of heights. I don't even like being on top of my roof at my house or on a ladder. But this trip is about pushing myself, so I'm gonna go do it. At least I'm gonna try to do it. Brave mountains, do things that scare you. Yeah, great.
The hike to Angel's Landing starts off pretty easy, but gets more and more difficult as you keep climbing higher and higher. Eventually you climb up to a place where you can rest before attempting the scariest part of Angel's Landing, and the views are phenomenal.
So I'm at this stopping point before Angel's Landing, and it's terrifying. There it is, Angel's Landing. I see dozens of people hiking it, but it just looks absolutely terrifying. I don't think I can do it, because there's huge drop-offs on either side. Gorgeous views from here, but going up there, man, I don't know. Alright, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna be pissed at myself when I'm 80 if I don't try.
Even though I was terrified, I decided to get in line and give it a shot.
Oh my gosh. Nope, I'm not doing that. Nope, I'm done. So I just quit. Oh my god. That was terrifying. That was so scary. Holy moly. Holy moly.
Here, you get a clear shot from here. Really good.
I'm like shaking on the inside. It was so scary.
I got up to a little bit beyond that. Well, kind of far beyond that. But I quit. I got scared. I got terrified. Just looked over the side and thought, oh my lord. It's horrible. Huge drop off. Just a tiny little thing to walk on in a chain. I'm just like, nope. I noped out of there. I know I should be proud of myself that I tried, but I am really disappointed that I didn't make it. I sat on that ledge looking at it for about 10 minutes, and then I got the courage to go, and I tried, but I got terrified. That's kind of what braving mountains is all about, right? It's doing the things that scare you, trying to make you a better person, even if it terrifies you. So I don't know if this would ever make it into the documentary. I'm feeling kind of emotional, and I'm on top of this kind of mountain cliff thingy. It's called Wildcat Trail. It's near Zion. Not sure if it's in Zion. It's like one of the side roads on the western side. Feeling pretty disappointed that I didn't do Angel's Landing, but there's no way I'm going back because it was absolutely 100% terrifying, ridiculously terrifying. Yeah, I can never do that, ever. And I'm feeling really lost at the moment. I'm feeling really down right now. Like really down on myself. And I don't know why, because I'm on this awesome trip. I'm surrounded by all these amazing things. Part of it is because I'm lonely. But I get to see Matt in 4 days, and then I get to see Stephanie in LA, and then I get to see Dennis in Portland. So that should be okay. I also feel a little lost about what I want to do in life. And then I, see all these amazing things, and I'm like, oh, that reservoir, or that lake, or that mountain. I would love to live here, or Aspen, I would love to live here. And knowing I can't, because I don't have like millions of dollars, right? And that's ridiculous too. Expect to have millions of dollars at 37. I'm not a Bitcoin millionaire or something like that. And really, should I value my
entire existence based off of money and where I live. Rather, I value it based on friendships. And I got good friendships back in Iowa, in Augustana. I really do. It's cathartic to say all this, but there's no way this should go in the movie. No way.
I'm on my way to Lake Powell and Antelope Canyon before going to Grand Canyon. Arizona's got a small sign. Small, but confident. They got the Grand Canyon. They don't need to brag too much. Turn around, Utah. Huge sign. They might be overcompensating.
Once I was done exploring Zion, I traveled to Page, Arizona to see Horseshoe Bend, one of the most iconic places in the United States. After Horseshoe Bend, I went to Upper Antelope Canyon. The views inside the canyon, with the sun streaming down, are phenomenal and will stick with me the rest of my life.
Grand Canyon. Got 2 nights here. Super pumped, super ready, super excited to go explore. This is gonna be great.
When you're at the Grand Canyon, it almost doesn't seem real because the canyon begins to look like a painting in the distance.
So it's 7 a.m. this second day at the Grand Canyon, and I am exhausted. Yesterday I went to the visitor center probably around like 4, and this wave of exhaustion just hit me. I was planning on doing a short hike yesterday, and like I couldn't. So then I said, okay, I will just kind of chill out for a bit. Went to the grocery store here, which is amazing. They have a grocery store at the Grand Canyon. And I went and got a little bit of dinner, but then I went and packed up, or went to my campsite. And like, I eventually just like crawled into my tent at 7, which is really early. And I probably slept for about 12 hours, 10, 11, 12 hours, I don't know. And I'm still exhausted. I don't feel sick. I just feel tired. Maybe it's because I've just been like constantly go, wake up early, do something, wake up early, do something. Oh, I don't think I'm going to hike to the bottom of the Grand Canyon today. That was my plan, but I'm just tired. We'll see how I feel in an hour. But right now I'm just exhausted.
I decided to take a day to rest, so I got some food from the store, made myself a meal, and relaxed the rest of the day. I felt much better after relaxing for a day, so I hit the road. My first stop was Hoover Dam, and after that would be Vegas. On my way to Vegas, decided to stop at the Hoover Dam on the way. This thing's huge. This thing's immense. This is amazing. Wow, I'm so glad I stopped. Holy cow.
I was excited for my next stop of Vegas because I had some friends waiting for me.
We're here in Las Vegas. Hey. Woo! What a wonderful trip. Yeah. Keep running into each other on this wonderful trip. That's right. Great.
The mountains and show the desert.
Yeah, the mountains of the desert. We're in Vegas.
Hey,
We made it. We found from Capitol Reef to Bryce to Vegas. Look at us chasing each other around the country.
That's right.
Glad you're here.
It's good to be with you.
This is great.
When I was in Vegas, I also got to see my good friend Matt, who was traveling across the country with his family too.
We're here at Tenaya Creek Brewing. Tenaya Creek Brewing. Me and Matt back together. Woo! Yes. Tenaya. Hey, buddy. This is great. It's great seeing you.
It's
video. It's great seeing you.
David Thornblad is awesome. I love this guy so much.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Cheers.
Us eating together.
Delicious ramen.
Ramen noodles. Delicious.
Incredibly delicious. Say hi to the screen, guys.
Hi.
Southern California and Joshua Tree National Park was next after Vegas. And I was really lucky to have Matt join me to explore.
Hi, Matthew.
It's awesome.
It's awesome.
There's much more to Joshua Tree than just the nature. There's also old homesteads to explore and see how the pioneers lived.
So I've set up at my hip camp outside of Joshua Tree. There's my car and tent, and here's the more communal area. Check this out. Got a couch and communal tables all over the place. Really cool place to hang out. Table, benches, kitchenette, 2 grills. Really awesome place outside of Joshua Tree. It's beautiful here. Really happy I chose this place.
When I was leaving Joshua Tree, I had a nice surprise. My friends Brian and Stephanie just moved to LA and asked me to be a witness at their wedding. I was more than happy to attend my second wedding of the trip. It was also really exciting to be in LA and see my good friend Stephanie, who lives in the Hollywood Hills. And she got to take me on one of her favorite hikes overlooking LA.
Look how beautiful this is. Los Angeles, downtown, the observatory. It's freaking amazing. Hiking, my friend Stephanie, outside of LA in the hills. This is freaking amazing. Thank you so much for showing me around.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming.
This is great. She's got the best house ever. She's got the best life ever. I want to be here.
I'm the coolest.
She's the coolest, everybody.
On our hike, Stephanie also got to show me the famous Griffith Observatory. The observatory also gives fantastic views of Los Angeles.
Hi, Steph.
Hi, B.
Thanks so much for having me in your beautiful house,
You're welcome.
your beautiful city.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you. You're the best.
You're the best.
Next, I drove to Huntington Beach, California, where I used to live for a while. Huntington is known as the surf capital of the world, and I was incredibly thankful to be able to stay with my good friend Shelly and her family for the evening.
Thanks for having me, Shelly. Really appreciate it. Your house is beautiful. You are amazing. Your family is great. Really appreciated everything.
Have a safe trip.
Thank you.
Once I said goodbye to my friends in LA, I drove up the Pacific Coast Highway, and my first stop was Morro Strand.
This is Morro Rock by Morro Strand.
And my campsite for the night was next to the beach, so I got to enjoy a beautiful sunset.
So I'm here at Morro Bay on the Pacific Coast Highway, California. And man, is it beautiful here at sunset. California's so gorgeous. It's given Colorado a run for money in terms of where I want to move, if I ever move. We got the Morro Rock behind me this way. There we go. You can drive out to that, chill out there on the beaches, and who knows, maybe climb the rock. It's huge though. It's gorgeous here. So thankful I'm taking this trip. Big Sur tomorrow, then Pinnacles National Park. But you know, camping on the beach, not a bad thing in the world. Not at all.
After several more hours of driving up the coast, I found Julia Pfeiffer Burns State Park, which is one of the most beautiful parts of the California coastline.
So this is just freaking amazing. You know, here's the ocean, beautiful views that way. There's hiking, driving up the coastline. It's just like soothing to my heart and my soul. I gotta move to California to be on the coastline, or at least on the Pacific Coast. Maybe Oregon, Washington, but wow. I've been needing a new goal in my life for a while. This might be it.
And once I traveled up the coast some more, I found a hidden gem named Parrington Cove.
So I just hiked down to this little out-of-the-way cove along the Pacific Coast Highway. It's beautiful here. California's so beautiful. I need to move to the Pacific Ocean. California, Oregon, Washington. I'm so relaxed. I'm so soothed. Everything's right in the world. Of course I got stresses, but they're just kind of melting away. Maybe this is what I needed out of my trip, was to see this.
I eventually left the coast and drove into interior California to explore Pinnacles National Park.
I made it to Pinnacles! One of the newest national parks in the country, 2013 if I remember correctly. Gonna go on a nice long quiet hike, almost no one around. This is gonna be great. Pretty here. It's calming, it's nice. Good place to sit and think. California's beautiful, man. It's gorgeous. This trip has made me more patient, take things as they come. I actually find myself driving under the speed limit at times, just enjoying the ride.
so I'm not as much of a efficiency nut, getting things done quickly as I usually am. Particularly because I have to take my time in the morning and pack the tent right and do everything the right way. Yeah, I'm really enjoying this. This is day 43. 35 more days to go.
While Pinnacles National Park was an amazing experience, Sequoia National Park and Kings Canyon National Park are right next to each other. And Kings Canyon's beauty is astounding, with the beautiful Kings River running right through it. One of the first things I noticed in Kings Canyon was how tall and beautiful the trees were.
So I'm in Kings Canyon, hiking a trail, and it's just gorgeous here. These trees are huge. Can't imagine what it's going to be when I get to the redwoods. Man, this trip is going great. There's times where I'm just a little frustrated with things, like I misjudged timing or distance. Other times, man, it's just gorgeous. Like right now, this is not staged at all. I'm walking up on the river. I knew it was around here, but... And look, it's just beautiful. Look at this river. Just lapping up clear water. And then this is upstream from where the waterfalls are.
This is phenomenal. Wow, it's like misting on me on the camera. Who cares? This is freaking great. Oh, this is phenomenal. Look at that thing. Part of that river that just runs along the highway, and it's so gorgeous. Oh my lord.
I want to live in Kings Canyon. This is the prettiest place I think I've ever been in my entire life. This is gorgeous. You got the river. You got beautiful trees, huge trees. And you got hiking. This is everything I've always wanted. I'm moving here. Hopefully soon. We'll see. Oh my gosh.
As much as I love Kings Canyon, Yosemite National Park is majestic. My first stop in Yosemite was Mariposa Grove with its giant sequoia trees.
Look at these huge fallen trees. These trees are huge, but they're just so freaking big when you look at them on the ground. The fallen monarch.
After Mariposa Grove, I was really excited to hike Vernal Falls.
These steps are a freaking river. But just look at the water coming down it. I can't see anything. It's so misty. Hold on.
After being on the road so long, I wanted a change of pace and visited San Francisco.
Look what I found. There's a park here, downtown San Francisco. Awesome. Let's go inside.
The park had an entire pier dedicated to historical ships that helped the city grow and prosper. One of the coolest parts of the bay is the naval pier with the U.S. Pampanito, a submarine that served during World War II. Once I got in the submarine, I saw how incredibly cramped everything was, from the captain's quarters to the kitchen, the sleeping areas.
How do you even get up in there?
And the mess hall, as well as the control room. On my way out of the city, I was treated to a motorcycle rally, crossing the Golden Gate Bridge. I then continued north on the Pacific Coast Highway. On my way, I decided to spend the night at Laguna Point.
So I'm at Laguna Point on the Pacific Coast Highway. I drove about 5 hours north of San Francisco today, and I'm friggin' exhausted. For the last couple weeks I've just been getting more and more tired. Kind of started in Vegas, and yeah, I got a month to go as of today to finish this trip. And I am just so tired. All I want to do is lay in a hotel or in my bed in Iowa and watch Netflix all day. Yeah, I don't know. It's the combination of me feeling like I have to do every hike, or if I have 10 hours in a state park before I have to drive another 5 hours to some other place, like I have to spend all 10 hours doing something productive. So I'm getting my money's worth or my time's worth. And I'm just getting really tired. I've thought about going home a little bit. I'm at like the 15% level of wanting to go home. But what am I going to do? Just have a couple days off in Iowa? And then what? And then miss a whole third of the trip or more than a third? So, I'm tired. Probably going to go to bed soon, even though it's only 6:30. It's pretty. The ocean's been beautiful looking at it as I've been driving today, but I'm exhausted.
After a good night's sleep, I felt a little better and continued on the Pacific Coast Highway to Redwood National Park. The park is amazing, and redwood trees tend to be taller than even the sequoia trees I saw in Yosemite.
Made it to Oregon. Gonna spend 2 days at Clayton Lake, a couple days in Portland with Dennis, and then go to Astoria before I get into Washington. Pretty excited. I love Oregon. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. Super pumped to be back.
Crater Lake National Park is actually a 12,000 foot tall volcano that formed about 7,700 years ago. Once I was done exploring southern Oregon, my next stop was Portland to see my friend Dennis, who I hadn't seen since his wedding in Tampa.
Thank you so much for having me in Portland, Dennis. You're my hero.
Dude, it was so much fun having you here.
We got to do all the things: street festivals, rooftop bars, make ribs together. Those are good ribs. All right, thanks so much. I'm off to Astoria and then Washington.
Love you, buddy.
Love you too.
I left Dennis and stopped at the famous Cannon Beach on the Oregon coast, and then headed to Astoria, which I'd always wanted to visit. There, I made an important decision about my trip.
The time in Portland has really helped me recharge my batteries, but I'm still exhausted. So I've made the decision to cut my trip short by about 3-ish weeks. That's more like 2 weeks. Because I just can't keep like going. I'm gonna, I don't know, burn myself out tremendously. So now the new plan is Astoria tonight, Lake Quinault tomorrow, see Jason in Tacoma the next day, and then start the 3-day trek back home to Iowa, 30 hours of driving. That I'm not excited about at all in any way possible, but it's what I need to do, because just hiking and going and finding the next thing and then setting up my tent and tearing down my tent, then going and hiking all day and then driving to the next campsite, doing it again and again and again for like 58 days pretty much has been exhausting. So yeah, I'm enjoying Astoria though. Always wanted to be here. I'm glad I am.
My next stop was Olympic National Park in Washington, which is one of my favorite places in the world.
I made it. Olympic National Forest in Washington. I fell in love with this place a year ago when I came to visit Washington and Oregon, and it really inspired me to take this huge long road trip. I'm right by Lake Quinault, which is gorgeous. I'm so happy to be here.
So I woke up early this morning at Lake Quinault, about like 5:30. It's almost 7 a.m. now. Started hiking maybe half an hour ago. What a perfect way to end my trip. Hike through the rainforest. Drive to Cape Flattery today. I think it's the most northwest point in the continental United States. It's going to be awesome because that's opposite of Key West. Then I go to Tacoma this afternoon to see Jason, and then slowly back to Iowa. This last like 57 days have been awesome. 2 months on the road. Crazy, huh? I didn't think I could do it. I was terrified. I remember recording that one video in my backyard.
What am I doing? Oh my God, what am I doing?
Terrified of this trip. And now, whatever, sleeping in a tent, finding food, making food, talking to people, driving, seeing things. Amazing. It's all amazing. So glad I did it. But I was really nervous. But that's really the most important thing, is braving mountains. Finding something that scares you and tackling it, taking it on, doing it. Okay. I'm gonna continue my hike for a bit.
One of the coolest parts of Lake Quinault is the temperate rainforest that you can hike through.
Look at those mosses on this trail.
Cape Flattery is considered the most northwestern point of the lower 48 continental United States, so I thought it was only fitting to be one of my last hikes.
So I made it, Cape Flattery, most northwestern point in continental USA. I've crossed the country coming all the way from Key West a little less than 2 months ago. Man, the things I've seen, the people I've met, the friends I've visited, the crazy things I've done. This has been a wonderful trip. It's taught me a lot. First, do things that scare you. Brave mountains. I was terrified of this trip when I first left on May 20th. I was nervous. I'd only camped once in my adult life and it went terrible. Now I lived out of a tent for most of my trip. 2, talk to strangers. Life is better when you talk to strangers. Meeting new people, learning new things, getting out of my comfort zone and talking to strangers, that was hard for me, but I'm able to do it now. Better. Not perfect, but better. I think I also learned a little bit about the meaning of life and don't get complacent. Learn the phrase velvet coffins, where life can get a little complacent and you're not growing. You got this velvet coffin you live in, and if you don't do anything new, you're just gonna die in it and stay there and be relaxed, but not really grow. You know, there's parts on this trip where I'd be driving along the Pacific Coast Highway or another beautiful spot and see these gorgeous houses and be like, man, I wish I lived there. I should focus on making more money so I can live there. But really, I think what I've started to realize at the end of this trip is like, I've got a great life now, and I can take a trip like this, and if I can get a camping spot along the coastline, why do I need a house there? And a house is just going to be in one spot. It won't let me see the world. Right? I feel changed, but not in the ridiculously epic life transformation change that I thought might happen or hoped might happen or wished might happen. But I feel different. I feel tired. But I feel like a little bit of a new person at the end of this. And I think that's another thing I need to learn, is that change doesn't happen overnight. It's small changes, plodding away, working at it a little bit, working at it a little bit, working at it a little bit. And all those snowball into bigger changes and bigger goal achieving moments. You know, another part of this trip, I really hoped that I would figure out what's the next goal for me. And I still don't know. Throughout my life, I always set up goals and ran at them and achieved them, and I don't know what my next goal is. You know, like I mentioned at one point, I thought, oh, get a house on an ocean side. Okay, that's a goal. You could try to do that, save up a lot of money. But is that really like a worthwhile goal? You know? I don't know what my next goal is in life. Should probably focus on my health. Focus on friends. Focus on family. I don't know what is next for me. Maybe when I look back at this movie 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now, and I'll think, wow, at 37 I had really no idea what was coming around the corner for me. Hopefully I'm happy. But just know, David, that you were happy on this trip. You got tired, you got exhausted, but you were happy. You got to explore. You got to be free. You planned a little bit too much, so it's a little stop and go, stop and go, stop and go, instead of relaxing. This trip was awesome. You loved it. You had a great time. maybe in 10, 20 years, we'll recreate the trip. A little bit more stopping and relaxing. I think what I'm looking forward to most about being back home, showers. Get a shower every day. That would be awesome. I feel like saying goodbye on this video is like a breakup. Then all of a sudden the trip ends. Like this is finale. I shouldn't look at it that way. It's chapter 1. Chapter 1 of the movies of my life. I like that, chapter 1. Brave Mountains, chapter 1.
My first stop on my way back to Iowa was Tacoma, Washington to see my friend Jason, who let me stay at his house for the evening.
All right, here Jason and I
Rock Island.
join a fire at his wonderful house, Tacoma, because he's an awesome friend. So thank you so much for letting me stay here tonight before I take my trip back.
I don't know, man.
Thank you.
Once I said goodbye to Jason, I started my 30-hour drive back to Iowa. But on the way home, there was one last iconic place I needed to visit.
Wanted to get Mount Rushmore done before the end of the road trip. The road trip ends today. There it is.
Hi. Hi, Cooper. Hi, Elliot. Hi, guys. Hey, everybody. Look at the wild man. Hey, how are you?
Hi, David.
Hey, Dad.
Hey, how are you?
Love you.
Love you too.
Good seeing you.
It's weird.
Thank you.
like the
Thank you. I don't know. I love it. I think I need to shave it and like learn how to trim it like you. Mine's just wild, crazy man.
It felt amazing to be able to relax with my family once I got home and reflect on my trip. Before I started this trip, I had only camped once, and it was a bad experience. But this trip was phenomenal, and I loved seeing so many friends and beautiful places. I hope you realize that you can do things you never dreamed of and brave the mountains in your life.